Hi, my name's Buttigieg, and I'm going to be speaking to you today about building a tribe of like-minded people. Okay, so first I'm going to start off with talking about a little bit about myself. I'm a writer, community advocate, and educator from Macedon Ranges in Victoria. In 2018, I left my job as a teacher to start a copywriting business, a social enterprise, and to write a novel. The connections I've made by creating groups via my work, hobbies, and volunteering have brought about friendships, collaborations, success, and ultimately joy. So, here are my tips on how to build your tribe. Just a small overview of what I'm going to be speaking about. So, basically, it's all about connection. Connection is at the heart of everything that we do as humans. And I'm sure this became clearer to all of us during the pandemic where we were craving contact with people. I'll explain how to build a tribe in 3 simple steps. So the first one is, what is the need? Where we need it, who needs to be involved, why? Does it align with your business, passion, or purpose? So I think for a group or a tribe to be successful is that you want to have you want to have passion about it yourself, a real purpose, whether it's aligned with your business or something that you really enjoy. That's sort of the main thing. And if you have that need for that sort of group, then there's probably other people who have a similar type of need and who would also be interested. The second thing is, how can you reach people? How do you spread the news about this group and find those people who belong in your tribe? How to spread that word far and wide. And then once you have this group of people, how do you keep them and continue to grow this tribe of people? And I'll talk a bit more about consistency, authenticity to keep people engaged. Do I need to be a leader, an extrovert, or have some sort of qualification to start a group? That's a really great question. And I'm sure for leaders and extroverts, perhaps this may come more easily to them. However, the answer is, of course not. You just need the willingness to get started. And you can always drag some friends along for the ride, especially if you're someone like me and you are a bit introverted. Look for those people around you who can help you with what you're trying to achieve. So Brené Brown says, connection is why we're here. It is what gives purpose and meaning to our lives. And I have to thoroughly agree with that statement because I know for myself, even working as a sole business owner and in a very sort of basically just by myself for my business, I crave that connection with other people. So when I was teaching, I had that camaraderie, I had those other people to bounce ideas off and share with what was happening and have a sounding board. And so now I sort of look for that connection in other ways since I don't have any people working with me every day. Okay, so for the first thing for building your tribe, like I said before, so it's identifying the need. Who wants what type of group? If it doesn't exist, my idea is always that you can create it. Use what you need or what you know to get the group started. So over the years, I've started or been a part of starting a book club, a writers group, local parent family meetups, a business group meetup, and many more. Probably, say with the book club, for instance, that came about because I had all my friends from high school or people that I'd sort of worked with us, that sort of thing, and we'd lost contact, and I wanted a way to connect with those people again. And so rather than try and see them all individually, and we all sort of had been readers or were interested in reading, us decided to create a book club, and we would meet at different people's houses each month. So we had a reason to get together and whether you read the book or not didn't really matter, but it was that creating a group was something that I knew that I needed. And certainly I had many people, probably I think up to 10 people join that group. And then some of those people who joined brought their friends who also wanted to make those connections. So that was just one example. Another one was a writers group that I went to a memoir writing course, and a lot of us at the end of the day said, oh, we would love to continue to meet with other people who are interested in writing. So I think when there's a need and there's a want, use that as the starting point for your group and put it out there. Like I said, so with the book club, I had to ask friends and sort of reach out to them. With the writers group, we were all there for an event, and so it made sense for that to happen straight after that. We all knew that we wanted to have that group, and that was sort of easy to do. So who is your target audience? Like I said, depends. Could be you might have to get out there and put it out there, whether it's in your local Facebook group or, like I said, it might be after an event, might be as simple as that. So think about what type of person you are who wanted to have that need for that group. So with the book club with my friends, many of us were starting to have kids, so we didn't have as much, everyone was in different stages of life. So we sort of had to make a time that would work for everybody. And a lot of us who were stay-at-home mums at that time, really, really young kids, babies, toddlers, we really appreciated that time meeting up with our friends, sometimes with the babies, but mostly without our kids there for that special time. So something to think about. So probably one of the most successful groups that I have done have been to do with my Macedon Rangers Mama business that I started, which was sort of a social enterprise, started off as a blog, letting people know what was happening for families in my local community. And when I started that blog, I did have people reaching out to me and saying, I would love to meet other people in the area, but I can't get to a playgroup, or I can't get to these things that are already on. Would you run a catch up for parents? And so, I've said, why not? If people are interested, I'll put it out there. So I asked the community through my Facebook page if people would be interested in meeting up in local parks, at local playgrounds to meet other parents and their kids who, sometimes of similar ages or the preschool age, and I did that successfully for many years. I think I started before COVID, and then back up again afterwards as well. And interestingly enough, in the meantime, when we did have the pandemic, that was when I began a Facebook group where local people could connect in a similar way because we couldn't meet up in person. So interesting how sometimes groups pivot depending on the need as well. So I had that parent, family, kids sort of catch up. That was quite successful. And then as things happen with your business, you may realize that things don't work for you anymore. So my kids had started primary school. I didn't have any young kids at home. I didn't really have that time. I was using that time during the day for my business. And so to have a catch up with other mums during the middle of the day when my kids were at school, obviously that didn't work for me. But what I did find was that since I had been working by myself for my own business for a little while, and then of course we had the pandemic and there were a lot more people working from home or who had changed jobs and maybe had perhaps started a new business or were doing more of a side hustle, trying to slowly come out of whatever business that they were working in and to do their own thing. So there was a lot of people like that in my area, being about an hour from Melbourne. Lots of people were wanting to give up the commute and to do something locally. So after leaving the teaching profession, as I said, working for myself, I sort of thought I'll put it out there also through my Macedon Rangers Mama page because it had such a reasonable following. I asked if people would like to catch up, have a small business catch up at a local cafe. And I found that there were many people just like me who were craving that connection, who worked for themselves or worked from home, didn't have those that sort of colleague camaraderie that you have when you work, in an office with other people. So the catch up that we had at local cafes started off with a few people, and then the word got out, and now regularly each month we have 10 or more people at our local cafe, and it's just a free catch up where we all get together and share advice. Some people have come to the group asking about for some feedback on a business that they would like to start, or if they'd like to pivot their business, if they wanted to ask for particular advice for any. And it tended to be just from when the business catch up was scheduled, because it was sort of mid-afternoon, it tended to be mostly women coming to the business catch up because there were a lot of women who were working from home and wanted to be there, have that balance, family balance, so that they could be there for their kids after school. And we did get some gentlemen attending as well. Everyone was most welcome, but it sort of tended to be more women that attended. And through this through these business catch-ups, it's been going for a couple of years now, and we have had so many friendships come out of this business catch-up, collaborations between different businesses. It's sparked new ideas, businesses. It's been brilliant. So how to reach people is the second part of building your tribe. So like any news you're trying to get out, the key to sharing about your group is connecting with your audience across various channels where they are. So whether that be Facebook groups, where is your target audience going to be? Sharing into those groups. What print or online materials do they read? With my groups that I created, yes, they were local community groups, so it was quite easy for me to just put things in local community Facebook groups, in our local paper, even our community newspaper, to put flyers out, even just the word of mouth and by tagging the cafe that we were meeting up, that all helped. So a multi-pronged approach and consistency, I think, can assist in reaching more people more quickly. That's certainly what I've discovered. So if you have a group and you're meeting up, I would suggest having a particular time, although sometimes it doesn't always work for everyone, which is difficult. But so for example, for the local biz meetup, we have the third Thursday from 1:30 p.m. to about 3:15 p.m. and having that set ready to go makes it easy for people to put in their calendars, easy for them to remember. So that was another thing that I found really helped. So consistency in when you're meeting up and consistency in what you're doing in your group. So and that multi-pronged approach across lots of different channels to reach your people. So how to keep your group engaged? I think really the main thing is to be consistent, as I said before, and to be your authentic self. So if this group has come about from your passion or some purpose that you have through your business or volunteering or whatever you do, that's going to show. And of course, I believe that's going to keep people engaged. That's connection. When you're being your authentic self, you're going to have those really strong connections. And I was going to mention also, a group that I joined as a volunteer. I have volunteered for lots of, all my kids' sporting groups and things like that, and at the local school. And at one point, I thought to myself, if I could volunteer anywhere, where would I want to volunteer? And we have a local community newspaper in my town. And I really thought, actually, I love writing. Why am I not volunteering where my passion is? So I approached the local community newspaper. I offered to write um, an article each month for their paper, and that was accepted. And then after that, I got into helping them with their social media. I did some of their, I took on a role of invoicing for their advertising at one stage. And then eventually now I'm actually the editor of that local community newspaper. So that's why I think being authentic, being true to what you enjoy, your passion, your purpose is going to steer you into to find your tribe. So going where your passion lies. And now I get to be the editor of this amazing local community newspaper, which started because I'd really thought about where do I want to be volunteering, where is my interest. So spoken about the consistent meeting day and time. Yep. So another thing that I also do consistently, especially with my business catch up, is the creating interest before the meeting. So obviously letting people know in advance. I've got all the meetings put on Facebook events for the whole year. Before the meeting, I share stories, let people know, check if people are coming. And then afterwards, I tag all of those people who attended and thank them for coming, and have a little bit of a summary about how the meeting went. So all of those things as well, they help get, well, acknowledging people, but you're also getting their name out. That's something good for them. Obviously this will all depend on the type of group that you have, but I think that sort of check-in before, check-in afterwards is always good. And if it is on something like social media, I know that's where we've had more interest in our groups. I think I take a photo at each group meeting, and the last time but I shared before the meeting, I shared maybe 10 photos from past meetings, and that really got more people interested, because they could see all the diverse people that we have at the meetings, how sometimes it's a smaller group, sometimes it's a bigger group, that there was people from all different places and from different businesses. So I think that's been really important as well. And as I was saying, yeah, anything in your life, if you're true to who you are in your dealings with people, they'll recognize that and they're more likely to remain engaged. So being your true self, being authentic, we all know that's what keeps people engaged, so that they know, like, and trust you, and that's really where good connection comes from, doesn't it? From being able to trust other people and really know them. So using your group for good, whether your group is for a hobby, whether it's a not-for-profit, a business, or for fun, I just think good things come from connections. My experience with creating groups is that it's enhanced my mental well-being. Of course, that connection between people with shared passions, shared ideas, that's what you want in connections. It's given me new friendships. It's given me a new business partner in my Macedon Ranges Mama business, new projects. So someone who I met at my meet up with Macedon Ranges Mama when it was a parent and kids group meeting in a park. I met a friend who was also a local person who was new to the area, a local rider, and we became friends then. And then she has also been coming to the business catch-ups, and we have since helped each other in our copywriting businesses. We've also started to collaborate on a book about people in our local community, and obviously have a friendship as well. So I think connections build upon connections. The more connections you make, and then especially in a community like ours, which is quite small, you keep seeing the same people. They know someone you know. It's good for business, it's good for friendships, it's good for well-being, it's good for your not-for-profits, whatever you're doing. Making those connections can only have a positive effect, I think. So that's my thoughts on building connections, finding your tribe, building your tribe in your community for whatever purpose you have. And I think, as I said at the beginning, if you make those connections with the right people, get so much joy out of it as well, which is amazing. If you'd like to find me, I'm at Macedon Ranges Mama, which shares ideas of family fun in the Macedon Ranges and surrounds. I'm on Facebook and Instagram for that. I am at Buttigieg Creative for my creative writing lessons for kids as well. Facebook and Instagram as well for that one. And also Macedon Ranges Writers, which is my copywriting business, also on Facebook and Instagram if you are looking to connect. So I hope you enjoyed having a think about finding and building a tribe of like-minded people, and I hope that you can use some or all of what you've learnt here to help you find your tribe and find your people. So thank you very much for having me, and see you around. Thank you.